Well, hello. It looks like Russell might be on the move. Hello again. I was deciding today what to talk about, and I was listening to the podcast, The Week in Westminster from the BBC, and I thought that is a suitable topic. I think it's a really good program. It goes out on Radio 4 on a Saturday morning, afternoon, I think, middle of the day kind of time, just for half an hour. And it gives a rundown of the major issues that have gone on in Westminster during the previous week. So that makes it incredibly helpful for studying politics and just keeping up to date with events. Anyway, people should be listening to it anyway, regardless of whether they're studying. It's really, I find it really helpful, and it's presented by a different journalist each week, and they have guests on, and they discuss two or three topics. Now, Parliament is not going on at the moment; it's in recess for the Easter break, so this programme is only on while Parliament is sitting. There, isn't he looking majestic? Isn't Russell looking brilliant? And so what they did with this week's episode was they kind of did a review of the year in politics so far, and I found that very interesting, helpful, and worth listening to. So this is a program that will now go on break for a little while. But I just wanted to go through what they looked at. So they played a few clips from news stories that have gone on since the beginning of the year. And someone's trying to ring me. It's always good when it comes up as suspected spam. That's interesting. I don't think I'll be answering that anytime soon. So recent stories like Trump's so-called Liberation Day, and Keir Starmer's trip to Washington, the Zelensky-Trump argument and fallout. All of these things were looked at, but then they started to discuss things in a bit more detail. They discussed the tariff stuff, and they talked about Ukraine a little bit. They talked about the problems of getting economic growth and whether the Chancellor is going to have to increase taxes or change her fiscal rules to allow borrowing more in the autumn. The autumn feels like a long way away, and so much is going to happen in politics between now and then. So this is a really useful podcast. And what else did they look at that was pretty good? Or they talked about the rise of reform and the way that Labour is matching that by drifting to the right on certain things. Obviously, we've seen the cut in international aid, and we've seen the harsher line on migration. So Labour is really trying to kind of ensure that they don't lose more votes to reform. I'm not convinced that's a great strategy. I think that reform are really more of a threat to the Tories, and I think you just let them get on with it. If you're in the Labour Party, you'd let them get on with it. I think the lesson from the early 1980s is quite useful here. When the SDP broke off from the Labour Party, and they formed an alliance with the Liberal Party in 1983. If you've studied the 1983 election, you will know that opened up political space for Margaret Thatcher, because both the Labour Party and the SDP Liberal Alliance got around about the same amount of votes, got the same percentage share. It split the left in this party. Both major parties actually lost votes in 1983 compared to what they did in 1979. But the result of Labour losing so many votes to that SDP Liberal Alliance meant that Margaret Thatcher's victory was a landslide. And that allowed her then the political space. And like I say, political space can ebb and flow. It gets wider or it gets narrower depending on circumstance. It seems to me that there is political space for this Labour Party right now in the fact that the right is split. There's a political space to do something different. And I think people voted for change last year. And they will look, some of them, a lot of them, will look at how change hasn't actually come about. So I think it's a really interesting thing that Labour is obsessed with reform. I think the Conservatives need to be worried about that. The Conservatives are heading towards terrible local elections. But it kind of hints, what they were saying in the programme, is it kind of hints at where we might be looking at the next general election. Are we looking at a Reform Party that is the challenge to a Labour government? Or are we looking at yet another party that Nigel Farage has been involved with that ends up not getting anywhere, or not getting very far, or as far as it wants to? We will have to see. The infighting within that party when they've only got 4 MPs is quite something. But so is their rising membership. So we'll have to see how that all pans out. So the week in Westminster, that is one of my must listen to podcasts. There are a few that I listen to every single week, and this is one of them. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that they take a look at. So this episode included conversations with who? So it was the BBC's deputy political editor Vicky Young, and she was talking to the political editor of the Daily Telegraph, Ben Riley-Smith, the chief political commentator of the Times, Patrick Maguire, and the Observer columnist and chief leader writer Sonia Soda. So a good collection of various range of voices. And so that is a really good episode as well to start with. And then there won't be another one until Parliament is back. But the reason I listen to it every week is that it's a really good digest of the political news. And so I would encourage people to give that a go. It's really helpful in keeping up to date, but gives you a bit more detail. And you need the detail for some of these developing stories. Okay, that's it for me for now. That's it from me for now. And there's Russell again. He's had a stressful weekend. I was out a long time yesterday, and I don't think he particularly liked that. So he's a little bit scared of the world out there at the moment. And it's going to get worse this week. Vet's on Wednesday. But for now, happy studying. If you're on your Easter break, I know some people are on their Easter break already and some aren't. If you're on your Easter break, I hope you're getting a break as well as doing all of the things you have to do. I know stress and pressure is terrible at times, but hopefully you've got time to enjoy life as well as doing any revision or whatever if you've got your exams coming up. Might actually take a look at some revision techniques at some point and talk through some of them, because when I was a student, I didn't really know how to revise. I just kind of thought, oh, you just read over things you've already read kind of thing and remind yourself of them. I think there are better techniques than that. I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way by making mistakes. So I might talk about revision techniques that might be helpful. In the meantime, happy studying or happy break, whatever it is. Okay, bye-bye.